Okay. I'm going to share my screen. Right. Okay. Can everyone see my Concur screen? Only one person has to say yes. Give me a thumbs up.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
Thanks. Okay. So, let me back up one screen. I'm in Concur. This is my landing page. Your landing page always has the company notes, and this section gets updated when the Concur team or when the travel group has something to say. So you can see that this says read more right here, a little tab to click. And when you click read more, there are some links that are really going to help you, right? Office of the Controller link, Global Hub travel page. And then I want to scroll down, and here is really important information on how to get help from Travel Leaders Corporation. When you hear me say something like the agent is doing your booking or agent assist or travel agency, I'm talking about a company called Travel Leaders Corporation, and this is their phone number, and you'll be able to call them and talk about your booking. Okay. For navigational assistance with Travel Leaders, you can use this 866 number also, and you can do a live chat. So when it comes to booking, how are we interfacing with a travel agency? Well, the travel agency will be able to see that you have an approved travel request. Okay, so on a travel request, I'm going to go to a request right now. Okay, and I'm just picking a random one. So I'm going to go to the header of this request. How will you book your trip? See the choices here? Agent assist means I'm not going to book in Concur. I'm going to book through Travel Leaders Corporation. Okay. Book in Concur means I'm going to use the booking tool Laura is showing me today, and I'm going to book the travel right in Concur. And then no booking, of course, means I don't have anything to book in Concur. Okay. Now, why am I pointing this out to you? Because users are having problems. They have selected book in Concur, and let me go back out. They have selected book in Concur, and then they have a tile that says ready to book. And this tile says pending online booking. That makes sense, right? This trip to Interlaken is fully approved and it's ready for online booking. If you see pending online booking, that means that request or you have chosen in that request the booking type book in Concur. So now you need to use the travel agent instead of booking in Concur. You'll call the travel agency and say, can you help me book trip number 34GG? And the travel agency will say, I don't see an approved travel request for that. Right? Or they'll say, this is pending online booking and we can't book it. So what I'm trying to get across to you is the importance of deciding how you're going to book up front and then choosing book in Concur, which would give you this link, pending online booking, and this little message, ready to book. And then you would click, right, your travel request, and you would use this button over to the right called book travel. Okay. When I click this button, book travel, okay, the system pulled in my itinerary. And then I would use this very small button with tiny letters that says proceed to booking. That is when I have selected a booking type called book in Concur. All right. Now, what happens is people look at the flights. It's too complicated to book in Concur. They have to go multi-city. They would rather have the travel agency do it, but the request says pending online booking, and travel leaders cannot help you. Okay, they can't help you. If you are in a travel request, I'm just going to open this same one again. And I'm going to go to the header. See, this is grayed out, book in Concur. So this trip to Interlaken is pending online booking. So it has been through all the approvals that it needs to go through. And if you needed to change it at this point, before booking, you would have to do more actions, recall the request, okay? And then change the booking type to agent assist, and then submit it again for all the approvals, which will take you a day or two. And then you'll be able to use travel leaders to book. So those booking types that you select, it's like the first thing that the header asks you, how do you want to book this trip? And you decide book in Concur or agent assist. It makes a really, really big difference in what you can do later with the Travel Leaders Corporation. All right, now that I've showed you recalling an approved trip, I do not want you to ever do this if you're in a pending online booking, or no, that's not true. I don't ever want you to do this if you have literally booked the travel. All right, because it will take this travel request out of an approved status, and it will make the status of this travel request the status will be returned. Okay, so you booked your trip, you went on your trip, you came back, now you want to do an expense report. The expense report uses the travel request, okay, and you'll try to pull it in, and the system won't find it because it's not in an approved status. Now that is sort of like advanced learners, but people are making this error. And they're just trying to make things match up correctly in the system. So this says pending online booking, and the person went outside of Concur and the travel agency and booked his flight himself or whatever he wanted to do. Well, then when he goes to do his expense report, this pending online booking is sitting here. He can't put it in. He can't pull it into a request, right? Because he rerouted the booking, or because it doesn't have a status that says approved. So it's really important that you follow the process correctly, all right? And that is create a travel request, choose the correct booking type. When it's fully approved, you get an email saying you're ready to book. Click the request, open it. It's taking a second. Then use this book travel link to book your travel. Okay, that's the appropriate request. That's the appropriate process. If your travel request says agent assist, which is fine, you can use Concur to book flights, or you can use the Travel Leaders Corporation. If your request has the booking type agent assist, once it's approved, you can call Travel Leaders and they will set you up. All right, now what do you need to book in Concur? You need to book flights in Concur, or you need to book flights through the travel agency. Okay, book in Concur or book through the travel agency. How about hotels? You can book those on hotels.com. How about trains? You can go to Amtrak and book that. The only business requirement per policy is that airlines are going to be booked in Concur or through travel leaders, but your booking type has to match what you're doing, how you're booking. All right, so we're going to get started, but I just told you a bunch of things about booking that are important to know. And trust me, if you do the wrong thing, you'll be putting in a help ticket and we'll be helping you out. Okay. How do we process when they booked through the travel agency? Yes, the travel agency will not book your travel unless they see an approved request. That's their permission, right? That gives them permission to go ahead and book your travel. We have booking and Concur. We have booking with an agent, which is Travel Leaders Corporation. And then we have people just going outside of that. Okay. And for anything but flights, it's fine to go outside of that. Book your car in on hertz.com, book your train on Amtrak or Mark, whatever you need to do. But when it comes to the airline, the policy is in Concur or with a travel agent. Christina, did that answer your question? I just saw it flash for a second. They already flew, though. It was booked before Concur. Then they can just go straight to the expense report. Okay. And we do have that situation. We're in a little bit of a transition period. I say little bit, but it's pretty huge, right? The system is completely different than the one you had before. And we do have people that booked flights 6-8 months ago because they wanted to get the best price. And they wanted to make sure that they were early bird for the conference and had their tickets or whatever the reason is. So if they have an approved travel request in the prior system, or if they have an approved travel request in Concur, but they booked before go live, you can do that travel request in Concur, and when it's approved, you can go straight to the expense report, and you're just going to document this was booked before Concur was live. Okay. Yes,
Right.
we have a thousand situations right now. Yes, John?
And Laura, if you're booked, if you process the request prior to Concur going live in the old TBE system, you can print off that approved request and attach it to the expense report in Concur to show that you had, or the traveler did have an approved request prior to travel.
Yes.
That's an important step.
Yes, and if you guys are in my class tomorrow on expense reports, I'm going to show you how to build an expense report where the booking was done outside of Concur because it was before Concur, and the approved travel request was in the prior system. I'm going to show you that tomorrow in class, but that document is right here. Creating a travel expense report from an approved TBE request. TBE stands for Travel, Business, and Expense. A lot of you might know that system as e-travel, okay? But this was prior. All right, good question, good reminder, John. Okay, so let's go book a domestic trip. Now, one of the most important things that you can do for yourself, for someone that you are a delegate for, is make sure that the profile is set up correctly, because booking literally needs an emergency contact. It needs a home and work address. If it's international, it's going to need to see that you have a passport, right, on file. What else? Oh, in the travelers travel preferences, they could add all their award and point systems for the places that they stay, for the car rental companies they use. They can add all of those. And if the traveler adds all of those point programs in their profile and you're booking their travel, you're going to see them all in a drop down. And then they can easily get the points for what was booked. Okay, so in this example, we're going to do airfare, car, and hotel for a weekday overnight trip to Chicago. Now, train we have disabled. You used to be able to do a train booking in Concur, and let's just say it wasn't going well. It really wasn't going well. So we disabled the train in Concur, and you might still see the icon in this demo, but that train icon that's right next to the airplane icon, that train icon is gone now. So if train is your only mode of travel and there are no flights, your travel request should indicate no booking. No booking. Okay. Remember, what's the requirement? What are we asking you to always book, either in Concur or with the travel agency? Just the airlines. Okay, just the airlines. All right, so we have company notes on this page. We have my tasks. These are my open requests right now. You will get an email that says your request is approved and ready to book. And just a note again about the company notes, please read them. There are some things that, like this is new since I started teaching. The state issued a declaration prohibiting Airbnb. Okay, so someone in class is going to say, what if we already booked Airbnb? Put in help ticket and they'll help you undo it, or we'll get permission. You know, like this came out in February. So if Airbnb was booked before that, then basically the travel group has to guide us on what to do. All right, so I'm just going to find my travel request. I got an email that said you're ready to go to Chicago. So I'm going to open my page, and under my tasks, I see there's my trip to Chicago. The other way that I can find it is by clicking requests at the top of the page. And that will show me all my requests in kind of a tile format. But here I'm just going to click it right from the My Tasks section. And I'm going to look it over. This is what I expected to spend. And you can see that none of this is open for editing because it is fully approved and it's ready to be booked. So here's the important part. Open the request, then click book travel. Okay, it brought my itinerary in. Now I do have air tickets and car and hotel. I could just book the air tickets, that's fine. I don't have to book the car and the hotel, right? But it brought my itinerary in, and it has start and end dates for my trip and locations, and this is going to be used. This information is going to be used in all of these segments. So I'm going to click proceed to booking at the bottom. And this is a gigantic reminder. Make sure you set up your profile settings. So your trainer, Laura, on her very first try, once booking was live, I'm like, okay, let me see how this works, right? And this reminder wasn't there yet, but I got stopped. When I tried to book something, the system said, hey, I just looked at your profile, and guess what? You didn't fill it out completely, and I need more information. And it gave me a list of things that I was missing, right? My emergency contract, my home address, my visa, passport information, credit card information, etc. Okay. So this is a reminder, and it's going to appear every time. So just click OK. And now you're going to see flights. And this looks a lot like your Travelocity page, right? Or Expedia. It's been so long since I used one of those pages. But they always have a matrix, you know, where you could select a particular airline, or let's say you only want to see at the most one stop or nonstop results. Okay, so this is the matrix. Down under the matrix, you have shop by fares or shop by schedule. That's your choice. Over on the left-hand side, you have a search kind of already set up, and it's based on my location and my dates. So here's what it's saying. you're going to depart on May 2nd and you're going to return on May 5th. And I'm going to make those times of the departure from 5 a.m. to 1:30. And I'm going to make the arrival time from 7:25 to 10:35. You can change these times. Okay. You can also hide this matrix if you need to. So I'm going to just, for this example, I'm going to say, I just want to see the nonstops from Southwest right now. I just click right on the link, right? And now it's showing me, basically, I don't have a lot of choice, but it is showing me a departure nonstop and a return from O'Hare to BWI. And my second option is also from BWI to O'Hare at the same time, around the same time, and then a little earlier departure. You can see the flight times also. And then all you have to do is click View Fare to choose it. Okay. So your departure is shown in this section below. If you see a fare with a warning, like this one, $396.10, there's a warning triangle there. And this triangle warning says this fare requires approval. That it's not an approval that would get routed, but it is something you need to be mindful of, because when you see this triangle, you are selecting something that is outside of the most reasonable low cost airfare plus 25%, right? That's the rule. So if you select any fare or a hotel room or a car with a yellow triangle, you just have to address the next screen with a reason on why you chose that. Okay, so here's my departure, here's my return. I'm going to go ahead and select this fare that costs too much, just to show you, hey, this flight is not compliant with your company's policy. Airfare is greater than the least cost logical airfare plus 20%. And the flight departure country region is the United States. Okay, so basically you're picking something that's 20%, that's more than 20% higher than the least logical fare. Every class always asks me, well, what if that's the choice I need to make? Well, then make it. That's fine, right? You just have some splaining to do on this screen. So you're going to choose a reason from this drop down, and you can see alternate times weren't convenient. I prefer first class. Okay. Need a refundable ticket. That can happen very frequently. We also have people who fly and they have a broken leg or something else, and they need to sit in a bigger seat, and that might be in business class instead of coach, for example. So you go ahead and select the appropriate reason, and then you need to enter comments on the reason you chose. So I'm going to say need to return at a specific time. Okay. And then I'm going to click save, and that's it. All right. Now I'm on a screen. It picked up my flights. Now I'm on a screen, review and reserve your flights. So here are the flights that I chose. Okay. If you entered frequent flyer programs, they would be available in this section on traveler information. Traveler information is separate from profile settings. Profile settings apply to everything in Concur: requests, expenses, bookings, etc. These are just preferences for this trip. So if I had set up all my frequent flyer programs and my car rental, my Hertz Gold membership, and things like that, I would be able to select them right from the drop down. Okay. If not, I could click add a program and manually add a program. That's what we're going to do right now. I'm going to select add a program. And you're just going to fill this screen out from left to right. Okay. The flight and train icon is displayed. And remember, we're not booking trains in Concur anymore, but the flight and train icon right here is displayed. Then in the next field, you would select the carrier, United. I mean, there are like a couple hundred in this list or more. There are just every airline you can think of all over the world is in this list. And then you would enter the frequent traveler or number here and make sure it matches what's on the card. Okay. And then this search this vendor is a default, so just leave that on. So you can enter up to 5 travel programs at a time right here. When you're done, you just click save. This is a good thing for you to encourage your faculty and your physicians and people who typically delegate travel work. It's a good thing for you to encourage them to just go to their profile and enter all this information, so that when you're booking, you have an easy time. You can just choose from the program. All right. Now it says seat assignments are not available for this flight. That's because I'm flying Southwest and you can't select a seat. In the next demo, we will select seats. Okay. So I'm pretty much done. I have how will you pay for this? If I want to use the UMB Baltimore credit card, I could click this drop down and select UMB credit card. I can add my own personal credit card. This is a flight and you can't use a P card. So basically your 2 options are your own credit card or the TMC card or UMB card that you see listed here. Okay, and all I really have to do is click reserve flight and continue, and I have a flight. Right? Now I'm going to go book the hotel or book the car. It's the exact same process. The pickup and drop off dates defaulted. It knows I'm going to Chicago O'Hare, so it defaulted pickup car at airport terminal Chicago O'Hare. You can click off airport and enter a different address, for example, and then be mindful of these times. Okay, the good old days are gone when the pandemic was raging and car rental companies wanted anybody to rent any car for any reason, and they were super flexible about times, right? So make sure that this time is within a reasonable time that you could actually pick the car up after your flight gets in. All right. Under more search options, you can click this and you can select different vendors. You can say, there's 4 of us on this trip, so we're going to need an intermediate car, right? And select that. You also have preferred. These are our preferred vendors, Enterprise Budget, Avis, and National. And usually people ask me, well, how do I get the car discount? You know, we get a discount if we use Avis. Guess what? It's built into Concur. Okay, those discounts are built in. But you could select other car vendors also. And really all you're doing is selecting for your search, right? You're just adding criteria to your search. So I'm going to search on cars that I can pick up at O'Hare and one of these vendors, and I'll click search. Again, I have a matrix that will show me the prices. And when you scroll down, you'll see, you know, cars that cost a lot more, right? And you can, the bubble is hiding this, but those 4 preferred vendors are listed along the side. There is on the left display car display filters. So you could make a choice here. You can open and close this section if you wanted to. You could say, I have to have a car with air conditioning. I don't know who would rent a car without air, but you have some choices. Okay. So I'm going to rent from Enterprise because that's where, for example, I have all my bonus points. So I can just click right on Enterprise and it's going to give me all the car rentals for Enterprise that are available. Now, if, for example, I did need that intermediate car, I would select that. I'm going to just select this top option, just click right on the amount. And now I come to another screen, review and reserve. This is how it goes. Make your selection, review and reserve. Make your selection, review and reserve. So look at this carefully and make sure that these details are correct, especially about the cars. You can enter any rental car preferences here that you might have. You're going to have driver information. So that's my full name. That's my email. Make sure your driver's license matches your name for car rentals. You don't want to get to the airport and find out you can't rent one because your driver's license still says Laura Smith. There are certain things we can help with and certain things we can't. Okay. And then for the rental car agency, you could add a program also. We're going to do that right now. I'm going to click add a program. And what do you know? It looks exactly like last time we did this, but the car icons have all been defaulted as selected on. And that's because I'm renting a car right now. So you just go from left to right, pick the car rental company, enter your number. Next line, pick the car rental company, enter your number, etc. And then just click save. All right, I don't have anything else to do. I can click reserve car and continue. All right, now the bed icon is for a hotel. And you have an option with a hotel. Do you want a hotel within so many miles of an airport, a company location, a particular address? So you're just going to fill out this information for the hotel search. The airport is here, but you may be leaving from, you may not want to stay rather near O'Hare. If I had a choice, I would not stay near O'Hare. It is super noisy. And see where it says search within 5 miles, you could change that to 10, 15, etc., just by overwriting that number. Okay, I'm going to click search. This is all the criteria I'm interested in. And first I get hotel per diem for the location. O'Hare is in Cook County, Illinois. All right. Let's say you're flying into O'Hare, but your conference is about 30 miles away. You may not be in Cook County anymore. So you could click this drop down and select a different location if you absolutely had to. The hotel per diem is, of course, based on your location and the number of days. So it's telling me that I can have $216 for lodging, $74 for meal, and $5 for incidentals. If I don't need to change the location, I can just click next. And here is the hotel page, which I find not super easy to use because of this map. You can hide the map, and to me, the map doesn't tell me anything. Here's the number 13, and I can't see about 10 entries underneath it, for example. So you might want to hide this map and just work from a list instead. So over in the search criteria, you have a price. You can move this up or down, the slider. You have property brands to choose from here. You can also make some selections for amenities. I need a convention or a business center. I also would like to have breakfast, etc. So I'm going to say I like to stay at the DoubleTree, and I'm going to click the DoubleTree as a property brand, and here's what happens. Okay. There's the DoubleTree Rosemont. There's the DoubleTree in Itasca, and there's the DoubleTree by Hilton in Chicago. That's in Arlington Heights. All right. So again, click the link for the room that you want. It's always connected to a price with hotels. So I'm just going to click view rooms. Okay. You should always read the rules and cancellation policy. Some things can't be undone, especially with hotels. There's this big incentive like, oh, hey, pay up front, right, for the whole stay. So make sure you read the rules and cancellation policy. When I click on that, it's telling me 24 hours to cancel this, and the total rate will be $738. So it's good to read these before you actually reserve. I'm just going to close this pop-up, and then I'm going to select this 2 double beds. I'm going to click to select that. And again, here we are with review and reserve. So you're going to make some preferences. You could say need an early check-in here. This comment field is free text. I always enter something like, don't put me by the vending machine or something like that. You know, I don't want to be by the elevator where people are getting off at 2 a.m. All right. Also then check your hotel guest information. Make sure your name matches your ID, and then you can add a program and select a credit card. Okay. You have to have a payment method. You are making a reservation. Now, if you're making these arrangements and it's for a delegate, someone that you're a delegate for, let's say Dr. Smith, you can tell Dr. Smith, geez, if you put your credit card number in your profile, I'll just be able to select it every time I book for you. And he might say, no, I don't want my credit card number in Concur. And he might say, yeah, sure, that's fine. Now for a hotel, you will have a choice of P card here, okay, because we can use a P card for a hotel. So accept the rate details and cancellation policy. Just make sure that you've read everything. Then you're going to click agree, and then you're going to click reserve and continue. In a live system, you're going to get a confirmation page. You're also going to be get an email saying, hey, you're booked, you know, welcome, have fun traveling. You are booked, and here's your itinerary. And you're also going to, your trip will be displayed in the My Trips section on that travel dashboard. Okay, really not difficult. The most important thing is try not to break the link between that approved request and that booking. Okay, and how do you break the link? Somewhere in the middle of booking, you click travel. In the middle of booking, you click travel, right? And then you go to book your hotel or something else, and the system says, I was working on your itinerary, but then you left. That's exactly what it thinks. Okay. So once again, just to beat a dead horse, you are going to click or open the request that's ready to book. You're going to click book travel, and your itinerary's here. And then you are going to click proceed to booking. And I'll do this, but then I'll just back out of this page. Proceed to booking. You can't book trips that are in the past. You cannot create travel requests that are in the past. So there's no backdating anything. All of this has to be a forward search. We're unable to return search results. No available options. Oh, no available options for the dates and times because my trip is over. This trip to Zurich is over with. So this is a good example. Okay, now we're going to look at something very, very similar, which is doing an international request or international booking. It is suggested that you use the travel agency for international travel. That's because if they have booked all of your flights, if you're just going to Interlaken and staying a week and coming home, that's pretty vanilla. That's pretty plain Jane. But let's say your international trip takes you to Nigeria, and then from Nigeria, you go to Uganda. I don't even know what countries are there, so I probably sound dumb. And then from that country, you go to another one and you do some regional travel on smaller airlines to go to different cities in Uganda. And then you end up back in Nigeria. Try to use the travel agency for that kind of travel. Also, when you use the travel agency for international trips, you are going to have a helper, okay? So you fly from here to Interlaken and one of your connecting flights gets canceled and you're stranded and you don't know how to book another one. Who's your best friend? The Travel Leaders Corporation. So if you book in Concur, that's fine. But if you book with the travel agent, they will always have your itinerary and they can help you rearrange it. It does cost money to call them and ask for help, but that's okay, right? You're probably saying it's not okay if it hits my project or my account. We do have to pay them, I think, $25 to rearrange an itinerary, but it's worth having our travelers be safe. When you book international trips, you have to come to the global hub right here. And this is really important that you do this. Don't try to, travel internationally without checking this out, because there is a risk acknowledgement form on this page. International traveler attestation form with risk acknowledgement. I'm just going to pop it open. This is a DocuSign, okay? And it says, hey, I've looked at the travel risk for going to Uganda, and I understand that there's a risk involved. That has to be attached to your international travel request, okay? So the Center for, or the Global Hub is really where you should look. You can also call our international travel experts, and the contact information is on this Global Hub. And you can call and say, this is what I need to do. And they will help you understand the internet, what is required of international travel. Okay, we're going to just book this trip in Concur. This is an international trip. The travel request booking type has to match your method of booking. If you want to book international travel with Travel Leaders, our contracted travel agency, your request needs to say Agent Assist. This is more important when you're flying internationally. All right. Okay, again, here is my trip. Here's my trip to Interlaken. This is my home page. Again, please read the company notes. I'm going to open my trip to Interlaken. And here's what I have on it. And I'm going to click Book Travel. See that attachment right there? That little piece of paper icon? That should be my travel attestation form, risk acknowledgement. All right, I'm going to click Book Travel. My itinerary gets pulled in, and then I'm going to click Proceed to Booking. Here's my gigantic reminder that Booking especially uses data that's in my profile settings, and that has to be done before you should do it, before you can really do any of these tasks successfully. All right, I'm just going to click OK and acknowledge that. And I have the exact same matrix. There are 250 United flights going from BWI to Sweden. Oops, I'm sorry. You can shop by fare, shop by schedule. If your person who's traveling internationally has a conference, the travel request, and he's a presenter, let's say he's a presenter, the travel request can have an extra day on the front of it to allow for that traveler to get to the foreign country, kind of recuperate, because of jet lag, and then maybe spend a day getting set up for the conference. Okay. Just mentioning that's a frequent question that we get on international travel. Again, you can hide the matrix. You could also print or email your selections to the traveler to say, this is what I'm thinking of booking for you. How does it look? Right? We have a print email function on every itinerary screen. So again, I'm just going to start at United, 2 stops, unfortunately, and scroll down and find a flight that I want. This United flight leaves BWI about 6 a.m. And it gets to Zurich at 8:15. And that little moon icon, that means Laura's taking a nap on the plane. That's what this means. It's overnight, right? It's 19 hours of travel. Okay, so when you want to select this flight, just go ahead and click View Fares. And it's giving you a departure, and then it wants you to select between this price and this other price, right? And there's that fare with a warning. Okay, and you can choose a fare that has a warning, or a car rental that has a warning. You just have to explain why you chose it. All right, I'm going to select my return, and again, here's review and reserve, and I'm going to scroll down and enter traveler information, and make sure that this is exactly what I expect. On the return, for example, I'm going to leave Zurich and travel to Vienna, and then have a layover, and then leave Vienna and arrive in O'Hare 10 hours later. Okay, then I'll have a layover in O'Hare, and then I'll come back to BWI. Right. When you scroll down, there's your traveler name and information. Again, this needs to match your passport. Get your documents updated so there's no questions. You can add your frequent flyer programs here. I'm going to click Add a Program. And again, because we're on a flight, there is a selection, a radio button already selected for flights. So I'll leave that alone, and I'll just move from left to right, selecting the airline and the traveler number. Okay, now here's how you would select a seat. I'm flying on United, and that lets you select seats. So I'm going to show you how to select a seat, even though this is so easy, you don't really even need to worry about it. All right. I'm only going to show you one seat selection, but you would be able to select a seat on all of these flights. So I'm going to click Select a Seat. And obviously the dark blue ones are available. There's a little legend down below. So I'm just going to click the seat. There's the seat number. And then I'll click Select Seat. And then next to it, I have to click Close. Okay. Now there's my seat number right there. And then you could continue on and do the rest of them. So you're going to look at the price summary. Then you're going to select a payment method. UMD Baltimore is our UMB credit card. You can't pay for a flight with a P card, but you could add your own credit card and pay for it. Or if you're a delegate, ask the doctor to put his credit card number for travel in his profile. And then all you have to do is select it from the drop down. When you're done, you're just going to click reserve flight and continue. Okay, now let's do the hotel. I'm going to click the hotel button. The hotel has, or the hotel, looking at my itinerary, has my check-in and check-out dates. Search within 5 miles of the Zurich airport. You can enter an address, and what the system will do is go out and find the address and then ask you to confirm it. Just like a lot of software does. When you're entering an address, it'll say, did you mean this one? And it looks about the same as the one I entered, but you have to confirm it. Okay, so I'm just going to click search. Here's the per diem for being in Zurich. Wow, you don't want to skip your per diem when you're in Zurich, because the lodging rate is almost $400 and $200 for meals, and it's probably delicious. Okay, so I'm going to click next. Here's my panel again. You can hide this map. You can make all your settings selections over here. Like you only want to see the courtyard. The little number next to the property brand shows you how many hotels you would expect to find. So for the courtyard, there's really going to be one choice, one courtyard there. And then you can select amenities if you wanted to. I'm going to scroll down and select the Hyatt Regency. The room rate is 301. There's no warning here. If it's necessary to book a particular hotel due to a conference or a block of rooms, you can still select it. But you may, let's say that it costs too much. So you may get that screen that says a travel rule was triggered. Also, don't ever sweat it. If they need to go to a conference, you can pick up the phone and call the hotel and get their booking, okay? You can always book hotels, cars, and trains outside of Concur. So I'm going to click View Rooms. Right? And here are the rooms for the Hyatt Regency. Again, please read the rules and cancellation policy so you don't get yourself in a bind with having spent money on something that you can't really use. I'm going to select this room rate. And then again, here I am on this review and reserve screen, review the hotel room. Okay, add any preferences. These preferences and comments are supposed to be passed to the hotel. You can click add a program and then go from left to right again, just adding the hotel, selecting the chain, and then entering that frequent traveler number, and then click save. You can click add a credit card, which I'm going to do right now because I wanted to show you the screen. So I'm going to click add credit card, and this is what it looks like. Name as it appears on the card. This is a name that you would give the card, right? Like my travel card. This is the name that appears on the card. The card type, you'll select from a drop down. You'll enter the card number and then the expiration date. Then you can make this choice. Use this card as the default for plane tickets, car rentals, or hotels. So this is kind of handy if you do add a card. You can say what you want the card to always be used for. Then, of course, here's your billing address. Make sure this is correct. Look at, this is actually my address. And this defaulted from my settings, right? So this is pretty easy to use, but look at this credit card screen used information that was in my settings. I'm just pointing that out to you. All right. So once you've added the card information, you would just click save. And you're ready to read the agreement. Click to select it. I agree to these rates. And then click reserve hotel and continue. And you will get a confirmation. Okay. Now, when Travel Leaders books your trip, here's what happens. You call them and you say, I need to go to Zurich on these 5 days and then come back, and I want to use Delta or whatever you're doing, right? They're going to book your trip, or they're going to book the trip for Dr. Smith. You did the calling, Dr. Smith is traveling. Dr. Smith is going to get an email from Travel Leaders Corporation, and they're not going to book the trip until Dr. Smith clicks confirm itinerary in that email. This is not something that I knew when I taught the first, couple weeks of classes, because a user had to actually try it and get confused and ask me what to do. And then I said, yeah, what should we do? I did not realize Travel Leaders also has a process they want to follow. So you'll call there, they will do your booking, they will send an email with all the itinerary, all the details in it, and you're going to have to open that email, and inside the email, it literally says, you can confirm this booking by emailing the person who booked it for you, and here's their address, or you can click this link, confirm, and it will confirm this itinerary and your booking will be in place. Okay, that's an extra step. And honestly, it's a step I didn't know happened because I don't really regularly interface with Travel Leaders Corporation. That's something that they require. They require a confirmation through an email of the booking they created for you. Oh, all right. Just don't forget the most important part. Go through that approved travel request for the booking. Okay. Was this helpful? We're done right at 2. I can hardly believe it. Christina, was helpful, or do you have a question? Does anyone have any questions? I didn't notice the chat going wild. Okay, there's a couple questions. The rules
in the chat.
Okay, the rules for Airbnb are constantly changing. Yes. To find out the most up-to-date info on Airbnb and VRBO. And good point, John. That company notes section is updated all the time. We'll go to a meeting, Stacy and I will go to a meeting, and they'll be talking about something that, we need to make sure travelers know this. Should we put it in the company notes, and someone who has access to that screen on our Concur team will update the note, and then we'll try to socialize it. But if you just make a habit of running your eyeball down the company notes, you won't get left behind. Okay. Any other burning questions before we are done?
I have a question real quick,
Sure.
and I'm new to this, so
Okay.
so I'm a little confused about the payment type. So when we put in the request, we put in a chart string, correct?
Yes.
Okay. But then when we do the booking, we're actually putting down UMB credit card or the delegate's credit card.
Well, you have to pay for it.
Okay, so we pay for it and then he can get reimbursed when I put the expense in.
Yes.
Correct.
Right.
Okay.
If
All right.
you've used his credit card.
Correct. Yes.
Yes.
Okay.
Now,
Now,
let's
there is-
say on a hotel, you could use your P card, or
Correct.
somebody could use their purchasing card to book the hotel. And then on the expense report, that has to say P card, right?
Okay. Yes.
Not out
Got
of pocket. So
Gotcha.
really just think of how you think you're gonna pay for it, and then the expense report is how you actually paid for it. But the booking has to be paid for while you're doing it,
Correct. Okay,
right?
gotcha.
Okay, John, what did
Yep.
you want to add? I'm sorry.
Just one other thing to keep in mind. Most of the expenses for a trip incur, you incur them right when you're taking the trip, the parking, the hotel,
Right.
mileage, anything like that. The one thing that we pay up front, and the earlier you book it, the better fare you're going to get is airlines. Now,
Right.
airlines, if you book that 3 months out, you don't get reimbursed until after the trip. So if you use a personal credit card, the traveler uses their personal credit card, they need to wait until after the trip to get
Yes.
reimbursed. The
Yes.
TMC card, the UMB card, is available only for airfare. So we would encourage everybody to use that, so you're not sitting on an interest payment
Right.
for that particular expense for 6 months, 5 months, whatever it is. And that also, when you get into an audit, we've had some issues where people book it ahead of time, pay for it ahead of time, and it get expensed ahead of time, way before the trip. And with Concur, with the new policy, you won't be reimbursed. The traveler will not be reimbursed until after the trip. So they could sit several months on an expensive airfare. So we would recommend you use the UMB card, and that's the best practice.
Okay, so then when you go in to do the expense, it'll show up as a UMB card then? Or you just put down UMB card?
Just put down UMB card. Yeah, the UMB
Okay.
for it.
Drop down. Okay, yeah. All right, thank you so much.
Okay.
Yes. So on the request, you're taking a guess. I'm probably going to pay for this out of
Yep.
pocket. I'm probably going to pay for this with the P card. In the booking, you literally are paying for something, right? That's a
Right.
literal payment. And then when you get to the expense report, it really needs to match how you actually paid for any of those things.
Okay. All right.
And just if you're an approver, just don't forget to check fields like payment type, payment method, right, to see what's being used. And on an expense report, if the expense report hotel receipt clearly says, the key card was used and you recognize that, and then you look at the expense report the person created and it says out of pocket, you have a mismatch, right?
Correct.
We had an example this week of, or was it last week when I was working? Someone asked me, "Hey, can you take a look at this?" And as soon as I opened it, I was like, "Oh no, this is like nothing matched." the expected payments and how it got paid, and it said that it was paid by one expense was paid by P card, and one expense was paid by out of pocket, and all the receipts had the exact same credit card on them. So we had to actually contact the traveler and say, what did you actually do? Like, all your receipts have the exact same credit card, 4 last digits, unless this was some kind of miraculous coincidence that the P card and your personal card said the exact same thing. So we had to kind of figure out, and the traveler didn't realize that when he said P card early on, right, in a request, that was going to carry over to the report when he pulled the request into the report. So we just have to keep our eyeball on the payment methods, that they match what actually happened. Good questions. Any other questions before I let you go? We're over a little bit, but we typically are in this class over about 5 minutes. I'm teaching travel expense reports tomorrow. If anyone isn't registered but is interested, feel free to go register. I'm teaching that tomorrow from 9 to 11. Okay, any other questions? I want to thank John for being in here and being so helpful with the questions, and Stacy for sitting through this to learn it all.
I'll be with you tomorrow again.
Yeah, John. I owe John something. a dinner, some drinks, I don't know, but I owe John something for helping me for months on end with these classes.
Glad to help.
Yeah, I know you are. I appreciate it. If there are no other questions, then we'll just give you back the rest of your afternoon, and I will see some or all of you in class in the morning.
Thank
Okay?
you.
You are welcome. Thanks for coming. All right, see you tomorrow.